principles and fundamentals that we've been talking about into current events and how maybe it might help people live more solid lives, right?
Yep. How we can react or act or be proactive, right? And, we're working on some things right now. We would really like to get a community of just men that just want to be better.
Yeah.
And, we can learn from you a bunch. There's a lot of you out there that, man, I could learn a bunch from you, and maybe we can provide some value as well. So we're working on some pretty cool things that way.
Yeah.
And then people can always check out our website, thesolidpodcast.com. We do have some gear on there too if anybody wants to purchase some of that stuff.
I need to get me one of those hats you got on.
I've got a few. I might be able to get you one today.
Awesome.
If I've got a connection. So yeah, you can look those up, and then I think just make sure you like and subscribe, follow us on social media, and we got to share this, because I know we watch the algorithms and we see the ones that get like, they'll go really good and they'll just stop, right?
Yep.
And we know that's because we talk about a lot of conservative values.
Yep.
And for some reason, the world doesn't seem to like those.
We'll post them on Twitter.
We'll just do Twitter.
But yeah, if you guys are listening to this, I hope you really, give us some feedback on the last couple of episodes, this one and then the last one, and please send us some comments, some feedback on Instagram or YouTube, or send us some comments. Just let us know, how do you like this approach that we're taking to adding some solid fundamentals into some modern events that are happening in the world today. We'd really appreciate that. But thanks again for listening today. Appreciate all of you that support and plug into the Solid Podcast. And remember, stay solid.
I went to this Glenn Beck event a few weeks ago, and I was carrying, and they had metal detectors going in. And so we were already in the building, and so I just said, "Hey, I'm carrying. Is that okay?" Oh yeah, come on through.
That's awesome.
That's Utah, right?
Yes.
That's how it should be, because it's like, hey, you got a permit. You're obviously somebody who's responsible, and we need more people that are willing to be that, so we can feel safer. You should feel safer if there's good people carrying, right?
That's how I feel always. Like, not only that, I feel like, and I think I've said this before, I think the value of concealed carry is not only do you have education, which is, people carrying, at least you've got some sort of education getting concealed carry permit.
Yeah.
But then also I feel like you're a lot less threatened. And I feel like threatened people lash out and act out emotionally, where when you're not threatened and you know that, like, hey, if I absolutely have to, I can protect my family. Yeah. I feel like you're a lot less likely to react emotionally. So I think it just makes safer people in general, because it's like, if there's confrontation, that it's like, that's the last thing you want is for that confrontation to happen.
Yep.
Where if you're threatened, it's almost like, you see like Chihuahuas, they bark really loud because they're so small, they're scared.
Right.
And I feel like people are the same way. They get loud and they just act irrationally when they're scared. However, if you're armed, I feel like you're less likely to act that way.
But that reminds me, I think we should talk about this today, because last week we talked about Joe Biden saying that arming teachers in schools wasn't the answer to protect the kids, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know how you feel, but I believe if I would rather have my teachers, my kids know how to use a gun and be armed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that, can you imagine if that was how it was? Like, every school had every teacher armed?
It's weird because, dude, when I was in school, so Columbine, which I know there have been some other big shootings prior to Columbine, but in my lifetime, Columbine was like the one. Then everybody really started paying attention to school shootings, and it really changed because it happened our senior year. And but we had armed police officers at the school every day. Mm-hmm. So, they like parked a police car right in front, and then there was multiple officers that were armed. Mm-hmm. And we didn't have any metal detectors. There was no fences around our school.
No.
It was just like, it felt like a down home place to go to school. It felt like a good place. I never felt threatened. Even when Columbine happened after that, it was weird, dude, because they started locking doors. Like, we would go to class and they would lock all the doors and you would hear it sound like jail. You're like, what in the world?
Crazy.
You couldn't go, like when you're in high school, and like my senior year, I already had enough credits to graduate. So I really didn't need to be there. I was just there for the social aspect. Mm-hmm. And so, what do? You ditch class and hang out in the halls, and other people are doing the same thing. And after that, dude, it was like nobody was allowed to be in the hall. It was just weird. It changed the whole environment. But I don't know, man. I think that when it comes to arming teachers, I definitely think having teachers that care about students armed and willing to protect them is an obvious solution to me.
Yep.
But I think also, like, I look at so many teachers, and we talked about this with Trent Staggs a few weeks ago. I believe that there's so many teachers that are actually don't have our kids' best interest.
Yeah.
Right? That they believe that they have this ideological purpose to program our children differently. You look at just look at the things being taught in schools, even here, right? And I hear a lot of people complain about it. My kids aren't in public schools. So I don't know, man. I don't even agree with the history of schooling, like how it's come to this place.
Yeah.
So I think it's a far deeper issue than just arming teachers.
Yeah.
I do think that's a solution, but I think going back to the whole thing, like programming kids just show up. You know, I used to always say this. They start with a bell, they end it with a bell, nights, weekends, holidays off. Not so, like, it doesn't take you 12 years to learn the things you learn up to high school.
No.
It just doesn't.
Right.
Like, how many kids that really want to learn can finish that way earlier? A lot of them, right? Like I was just saying, my senior year, I had already accumulated all the credits I need. I was just existing in high school for the social aspect. I actually wasn't learning anything new. But it's not designed to teach our children. It's designed to create obedient employees.
Right.
You know, the same way as saving and investing your money doesn't make you a good consumer. There's all these things that go tie into that. You know, you think about
It's funny. It doesn't even make them good employees. It just makes them employees.
obedient.
It makes them obedient, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but yeah, exactly. But
And
obedient doesn't mean good, and
No.
it doesn't mean productive,
No.
right? That's the problem with so
Obedience.
much. Yeah, I mean, so many people work an 8 or 10 hour workday, and they could get all that work done in a couple of hours if they ran their own business. You know?
Yeah, it goes back to that. There's a quote, I think by Rockefeller, who founded the school system.
Well, that's why. You know, you and I were able to get into business for ourselves in a financial business and condense a 40-year career into 5 years.
Yes.
Because it doesn't take 40 years to get it done when you're working for yourself, because you can be way more efficient, way more effective.
And I think, yeah, not only that, but when you feel like there's actual rewards for your efforts, right? You feel like if I put in more effort, I can get a bigger reward.
Yeah.
You're rewarding effort.
And you're focused on results.
Yes.
Not just
Time.
putting the time in.
Yes. Yeah. Rockefeller, he said, I don't want a nation of thinkers. I want a nation of workers. And this is a pioneer of the modern school system. And he didn't want a nation of thinkers. He wanted a nation of obedient employees that would show up, do what they're told without fighting back.
Yep.
He also has a quote that says, spend 12 years teaching them about nothing.
Spend 12,
Yeah.
he does. Spend 12 years teaching them about nothing.